Ali. This is episode 1 of I Ship It. This is going to be a compilation between friends talking about different ships that we have, because you can never have just one, you have to have many. So what this is going to be is a bunch of friends blogging together and talking about the different ships that they have. These ships can come from animes, mangas, musicals, plays, dramas, any kind of media imaginable where there can be shipping involved. You're going to have different people watching, you're going to have different people reviewing these ships. So I hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to begin with the ship that pretty much started this whole thing of us starting this channel, and that is going to be Sailor Moon in Uranus and Neptune, Haruka and Michiru. Now, I know most people would start out with Sailor Moon as Usagi Mamoru, Sailor Moon Tuxedo Mask, but honestly, I just finished watching the third New Mew, and I personally did not like the way that they portrayed Haruka, and thus I kind of continued to rant to Ali, who you will see in a later episode, about what I thought she should have been. And so, and that, of course, because Haruka and Michiru are always together, that spiraled into a description about what their relationship is like. So let's start. Haruka and Michiru, they're always together. That's the thing, is they are always together, and you don't really see one without the other. And you always get this sense of the people that they are from what the other person does. And it's invigorating. It's at times when you see those posts saying true love doesn't exist, and then you see those two together, and it's just yes they do. I'm going to talk about them in the sense of all their appearances are canon. So I'm not going to differentiate one between the other and say, well, this happened here, this happened there, because as far as I know, all their appearances, there's not much of a difference. So I'm going to keep that pretty consistent. So history-wise, when we first are introduced to Haruka and Michiru in the manga and in the musicals, they are introduced together, and they are already sailors. The first anime differs from this. Michiru was Neptune first, and she is the one who found Haruka. Michiru has always been the driven one. She's always been the one to lead Haruka down this path, and she's always been that one as a guide, as the sea is supposed to be. It was a guide for sailors, and that already cements their relationship as being rock and anchor to each other. So after that, Haruka then becomes this battling soldier. And in the musicals, there's a song that they sing together, and it talks about how Haruka, before finding Michiru and finding her destiny as a sailor, she always felt alone and always felt that she had to be alone. That was just her destiny. A lot like how Makoto felt that she was alone and that was just her place in life. And it's not until Michiru comes into her life that she realizes that she's not supposed to be alone. And then she finds a bit better place in the world now that she has somebody by her side. 遅すぎたのか我がプリンセスよすでに侵されたこの星を守るためなら命の島へ初めて瞳を合わせた時気づいてしまったその真実振りまく光はブロンドのかりそめ女神に課せられたソリチュード
ただひたすらの孤独だと寂しさは寂しさを見抜くもの見られて初使命さえ揺らぐほどに私がいるのにその目はなぜ見知らぬかなりが悲しい光はどこまでもついの癒しの海がここにあるこの心癒せるのは君一人今はただ定めと向き合おう戦いに赴くためすぐそこに破滅へ潜もうと守り抜く我らだけの手でこの星を我がプリンセスを
That being said, Michiru cannot leave her side. As the song goes on, Haruka says that the only person that can relieve her solitude is Michiru. And keep in mind, at this point that they're singing, they are rejecting the inner sailor's friendship. They're rejecting their help. So they very much are alone with each other. But that is a sentiment that continues into future episodes and future musicals. But even when Haruka and Michiru become a vital part of the sailors' social interactions, they are very much a team in and of themselves. They interact with each other most. They talk to the inners and Setsuna and Hotaru, but they do that between each other and then outwards, if that makes any sense. And it's very much as Haruka says in her song, she is tied to Michiru. And Michiru, just in turn, is tied to Haruka. I think there are two best shows of this. One being the anime where Haruka and Michiru are split, and Haruka is paired with Ami and Michiru is paired with Rei. The second one being the Last Dracul arc of the musicals, and I will talk about each of them in turn. The splitting of the pair, which that is a motive that I think Takuchi-san uses quite a lot to show that there's camaraderie in the group in total. They all love each other and they all support each other. But there are also pairs, and this is true in all groups. There are some people that are closer to each other than they are to others, and that's just the way it goes. When Haruka is paired with Ami, the audience is aware of a very big difference. Ami and Michiru are both water, and that is something that many people enjoy, and they like seeing that dynamic between the calm water that is Ami and the powerful water that is Michiru. But they are not the same person, and we are confronted with this fact a lot. And Haruka is also confronted with this fact. She is trying to run, and Michiru has always ran beside her and kept up. And this is something that Haruka must face now because she's working with someone who can't keep to her pace. Haruka is then confronted with the fact that Michiru maybe wasn't always at her pace and she was forcing herself. And it's that confronting that it's her confronting that sacrifice that Michiru may or may not have made, because she never talks about this because Haruka is a battling soldier, that it helps to cement their love. Meanwhile, Michiru is with Rei, and they're both very intuitive with their spiritual selves. And it's one of those times where Michiru kind of figures out what strength really means. And with Rei, she's able to see that there is strength in herself, in love, because that's very much what Rei does. There's a lot of strength and holding back because they do know that they are ready to die for their cause. And working with Rei allows Michiru to see that maybe it is okay to love full-heartedly, because that's a sort of strength as well. In the musicals, with the Last Dracula arc, which is an arc about vampires, if you have not seen the musicals, I greatly suggest that you go watch them. They are a treat and they are so enjoyable. Not only just because vampires, and I will say that there are quite a few fan fictions on fanfiction.net in which they play the human meets demon / vampire arc beautifully with Haruka and Michiru, and if wanted, you can comment and I will gladly recommend you some. But there is a moment in both, and spoiler here, if you do not want to know this, please skip, and I will put a time mark in the description on where you should skip to if you don't want to know spoilers. But there is a moment in each musical in which either Sailor Uranus or Sailor Neptune is turned into a vampire and turned on the rest of the sailors. When Haruka does it, Michiru is lost. She doesn't know what to do, and she refuses to fight. And as I've said before, Michiru was the first person to fight. She was the one that brought Haruka into this world. And her refusal to fight is just a show of how much love that she has. She's giving up her position, a position that she was originally ready to die for in all of the arcs, in all of the interpretations of Sailor Moon. She is willing to die for her position as a sailor and a protector of the world. Here she is ready to just give up. And her only request is to beg Haruka to remember and to break this spell. And it's a heart-wrenching moment, and it gets to you, and you're just, I don't care who the heck you are. You could be homophobic, you could be sexist. You see this moment, and it makes you love them, I bet. And if you don't, I don't know why you're watching Sailor Moon in the first place. If you're homophobic and sexist, it's like, figure out your life, dude.
あなたの攻撃、すべて私にくれる。ネプチューン。私、強くはないから戦えない。あなたはどんなに速く走っても絶対振り返らない。分かっているから私ずっと横を走ってる。辛くなんてない。あなたは戦いの戦士。でもね、振り向いて。今は振り向いて。ウラヌス、私だよ、私だよ。
But it's such a moment. When it's Michiru who turns into a vampire, you get a much deeper heart. I will say you get many more feels, because As I've said previously many times, Haruka is a battle soldier. She is one who fights. And I believe it's in the musical where Misudu was turned into a vampire that earlier she is playing the violin. And Haruka says it is the one time where she can forget about fighting and just be at peace. And that also says something of the fact that it's Mishiru playing, and that is what calms Haruka from her battle state. That says a lot in of itself. But when confronted with Mishiru trying to attack the other sailors, Haruka is still Sailor Uranus. She is battling, and she turns to apologize for Mishiru always pushing herself to match Haruka's speed and always battling when she would probably rather play her violin and have a comfortable life. She apologizes in what she believes are her last moments with Mishiru before she raises her sword to cut her down.
なら血は血で報える。無理です。手出し無用。僕が走ると君はいつもついてきてくれた。どんなに速く走っても、どんなに勝手に走っても、君はいつも僕のそばにいてくれた。辛かったろ、苦しかったろ。でも笑いながら僕の横をついてくる。分かってた。僕の速度についてこれるはずがないのに君は笑ってる。だから僕は黙ってる。君はその身に海を秘めた美少の戦士。でも僕は戦いの戦士だ。言えなかった。ありがとう。やめて!
And this act of cutting down is something that is deeply, deeply hurting because in the anime, I believe, when Mishiru is attacked by Rinzi, I believe it is, the yellow-haired one, Haruka is frozen in fear and desperation. And when Haruka is ready to attack Mishiru for the sake of her mission, that says a lot to her and what she believes her mission to be when she's ready to strike down the one that she loves. And probably, if that had continued, Haruka would have been striking herself down in the same moment. When they are portrayed together as a couple, if there is ever any doubt that they do not love each other, please point it out, because I cannot find any. They are just so in tune with their love, and they make me so happy. So, Neptune and Uranus, they are the best.